Gina Whicker, and I'm the Program Development and Training Manager for Blue Buffalo. Today I'm going to lead you through how I'm creating a learning culture at Blue. And to know that, it's important to know about the company culture at Blue Buffalo. So let me tell you first a little bit about me and my background before I go into the company. I was an elementary school teacher, an Intel Computer Clubhouse coordinator, which that was an after-school program funded by the Intel Education Initiative. I've also been an instructional designer for PetSmart for 10 years. And then I bring all that knowledge to a program development and training manager. So what I really like about this kind of varied educational career is it's given me different facets in which I can apply at Blue Buffalo. So understanding what my challenges were at Blue, it's really important to understand the culture. The culture is one built on passion. This company was founded by the Bishops for the love of their dog, Blue. Blue unfortunately developed cancer, and through their research and through talking to various pet nutritionists, the Bishops start to realize that what we feed our pets truly does matter into their health. So that at that point, they became very passionate and made it their personal family mission to create high nutrition food for cats and dogs. It literally started in a barn in the Northeast, a family barn, and they had buses, they had logoed buses that went up and down the East and West Coast talking about Blue Buffalo food and Blue's journey. They learned early on that it was about building relationships. So I would say this company is built on relationships and passion, and that's how we train our pet detectives, which I'll tell you a little bit about them in a moment. Of course, with Blue's journey with cancer, we are a #1 funder of cancer research. In fact, now we're doing office clinicals in Ohio State that we hope will even go into the human side. So again, very passionate about this cause in Blue's memory. And then we went public last year. That has a huge impact on why I came to the company and why building consistency is going to be really important as we're a public company now. So today's objectives is how Blue is building a learning culture one step at a time. How to provide consistent training across multiple channels and groups. So you heard me talk about pet detectives. Pet detectives are the people that you may see in the stores that talk to our pet parents. They're our pet parent facing portion of Blue, if you will. So I run the initiative of training all of them how to interact. And then how learning technology supports Blue's corporate culture. So how we're going to use our new learning technology to create consistency and keep that passion and that communication relationship building going. So first, how Blue is building a learning culture one step at a time. And so some of it is baby steps, and definitely the journey is ongoing. But what it started is when I came to Blue, I represent huge change to this company. They're an entrepreneurial company. At the time, you know, privately owned. And so people kind of owned the business. They trained, they were given direction on how to train, but there wasn't that consistent training across all channels. And so the first thing I did is kind of educate them from within, educate them the resource I could be for them, what creating this consistency can do for our business, for our pet detectives and helping empower them, and also ultimately for pets and pet parents, because that's our passion and that's who we serve. So I did that a couple different ways. Again, educating them on the possibilities, listening to them. What were they doing in the field? What were the pros of what they were doing? What were the cons? And really taking that and folding it in to this learning culture and telling them how a learning culture can help them get to where they want to be. Next is how to provide consistent training across multiple channels and groups. So I choose this, this little picture because, you know, the old game of phone, right? It starts out as one message and then it ends up being a totally different message in the end. And that's just human nature. And again, it was how the business kind of evolved. And so again, providing consistent training across multiple channels required me to put in some things like simple things for us in the learning industry is a facilitator guide that explains the intent of why we're doing certain programming or certain certain learning with our field, right? What's in it for us? Again, what's in it for the business, the pet parents, et cetera. So that was a big educational part of what I had to do because, again, they've been doing this. It's a billion-dollar company, right? So I really had to educate them on how driving consistency will help everybody. All of this folds into how learning technology will support Blue's corporate culture. So again, remember, we're about relationship building and we're about passion. So how will technology, because that seems kind of disconnected, but it's really not. We're really excited to announce to our company, it hasn't been fully announced to them yet, is Blue U opens its doors this fall. So October 17th, we're going to open up our university to the company. We'll start with compliance training because that's just one of the things that it's a needs to it, an urgent need, if you will. And then what I do to explain to my company is this is what technology will do for Blue. Now you can look at that squirrely little thing, you can look at it as chaos, or you can look at all the different things happening. Either way, the LMS is going to help us streamline it. Technology will bring a consistent message, which again helps with our brand and brand awareness. So the immediate benefits for the demo organization, again, these are the pet detectives. Refresh new hire training. So we're going to totally change the way we do new hire training. Instead of a download of information, to person download of information, and then bringing them into a store and doing role playing and all those type of things, they're going to have some e-learning. I'll walk you through the actual components of what I'm proposing and what has really gained traction as I explain how this is going to benefit us. We'll have consistent training, which will minimize any retraining for pet detectives moving. Again, like I've said, it reinforces the brand, ultimately helps the pet parents and pets we serve because I have to speak their language, right? Pet detectives don't care about the sales numbers. They're a sales force, but that's not the top of their mind, the relationship and the pets and the pet parents. And now managers can focus on coaching their people, coaching them to grow, and also growing the business. How do we get more pet parents into the herd, members of the herd? And then pet detectives will have training records. Again, that's huge. It's a first because training records right now are kept on paper. So technology will streamline that and really see who our high performers are. So here's the elements. I'm going to quickly walk you through the elements of the new hire training for demo. So it will include e-learning. And so the e-learning will cover introduction to Blue Buffalo, what we're all about, Blue's story. It will cover our product portfolio. It's not going to cover our whole product portfolio. It's just skimming the 4 lines of food that we have because we have 600 SKUs. So we're not going to do that. And again, that was an educational moment. Not that anyone expected me to cover 600 SKUs, but there was definitely like, well, can't we tell them this? Can't we tell them that? And it was upon me as the learning professional to educate them why we're sticking with the basics. And then also we'll walk them through, we have an actual process of how we engage pet parents in conversation in the stores. We'll walk them through that. And then lastly, what are their tools to do their job? So that includes things like the apron they wear, timekeeping, things like that. Next will be a Pet Detective Workbook. And the Pet Detective Workbook it allows the learner to write things. So again, for that blended learning experience, again, an education that I had to give those at Blue because, you know, before it was telling them a bunch of information, asking some questions, but those learners that really benefit from writing things down never got that opportunity. Or even just taking the time to process and write down how I will say this. Okay, I've just learned about your basics food line. Now what are my words to tell a pet parent? So that's what you see in this Pet Detective Workbook. And the 4 different colors are the 4 different subjects that we'll cover. And then lastly, because we are based on relationships, InStore Experience with the manager. So it was really important that I provide them still have that opportunity to meet with their pet detectives, educate their pet detectives on little nuances. So that's where they come in. Where I've been able to really sell this is I am building a foundation for you to then kind of put everything else on. And that has really helped them understand what a learning culture can do for the organization. Future benefits for demo organizations. So this is my vision of the future. It's synergy between demo and the other departments at Blue. We're a field-based organization. People don't always get a chance to talk to one another or learn from one another. So is my goal with the learning culture is that we'll create synergy between demo and the other departments of Blue. Ability to do just-in-time training. Again, new product launches. It doesn't require webinars or anything. We can do something in the LMS. Lessons can be assigned independently to a pet detective who needs extra help. Again, this is huge. So instead of me having to travel, some of our managers have to travel, might be to another state to meet with a pet detective. Now they can give them something online. Again, the ROI, everything is kind of wrapped into the benefits for Blue. And the ability to share resources and best practices. That's kind of within the learning culture, we kind of get that, or the learning profession. But again, that was something that kind of did a light bulb. The biggest thing, a win that I'm really excited about, because I'm the only learning person at Blue, so all of this is kind of my doing, is possible RDM, which that stands for Regional Demo Manager, stretch assignments and passion projects. So we do have people that have been doing this for, there's people who have been with Blue almost since it began, and they're really passionate about learning. And so I needed to give them a venue on how they could still be involved in the learning at Blue. And then lastly, overall, this is all saying it's new ways to reach and train our pet detectives. And that's all I have for you today, and thank you so much for joining me.